Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Dragon Ball. Now today I have an awesome discussion on why wasn't Mecha Frieza stronger, more specifically when comparing him to the androids 17 and 18. Now for this video I've brought along Black and Fist, Mike from Laughing Stock Media, and Quaman's Land. Why don't you guys go ahead and say hello?
Alrighty guys, it is Quaman here today.
Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to Laughing Stock Media, where we're better than Black and Fist. I mean, where I make good videos.
Yeah, because I actually take time to make mine. But anyway, guys, I am Black and Fist, and I, of course, am your guest, not your host today.
You're their hoe?
We can roll with that. But
I was going to
like
say
I
host,
said,
but you know,
like I said, we got a nice little discussion. It'll probably be a shorter video, but a discussion on why wasn't Mecha Frieza stronger exactly. And this is something that I had thought of a while ago and decided to finally get around to doing a video on it. And it doesn't make a whole lot. Obviously, the main thing people are going to say is it was writing. It is writing, but the thing is that androids 17 and 18 are modified human beings, basically. And Frieza's a modified being who was way stronger than your normal human. And there's a couple things I guess you can do to answer maybe why he wasn't quite as strong, but he really didn't even receive too much of a boost from his prior power at his 100% form. Honestly, it was 120 million, but he went up to like a 140 million or something. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There's a filler scene where they're showing how they rushed his operation together to try to get him up to speed, and that could, hold some weight to it, even though it's filler and, most people would argue, non-canon. But I think there's a lot of interesting things that can go. But you would think that Frieza's army would kind of have the smartest minds, or at least a lot of the smartest minds in the entire universe. Mike, what do you say about all this?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but I mean, the construction and the amplification and modification of the androids is something that's completely different from Frieza's, because whereas Frieza seemed to be augmenting his overall ki that he had before, what the androids had given to them by Dr. Gero was that they were, they didn't have any ki that they were using. They were using pure energy. So they were, suppressing their ki and just, giving them these pure, replenishing energy modifications. So I feel like maybe that ties into it. Maybe Dr. Gero figured out, let's use pure energy as something that can always overcome ki. You know what I mean? And I think that's a possibility. Plus, even though Frieza's enhancements replaced a lot of his bodily, they did replace a lot of his parts, but the androids only had things that amplified their parts. So it's possible that just because they replaced them and they don't function along with them, that maybe it's diminished. But
That's
I don't really know.
a very good point, too. I didn't even think of that, because if it replaces it, you're losing a lot as well.
Yeah. And you would assume that Frieza's abilities to manipulate ki and stuff might not be as good with, lack of limbs and stuff like that as it normally would have been, but I'm not really too sure as to what the reasoning for that would be.
Sure. All right, Black Fist, how about you say your piece here?
Obviously, a lot of people are going to want to compare what Dr. Gero did to what Frieza's army did. But the thing to keep in mind is that both Frieza's army and Dr. Gero had two different goals in mind. Dr. Gero was trying to create extremely powerful beings, while Frieza's army was just trying to reconstruct Frieza's body because it was blown to bits. So, if you take into account their two different goals, that might explain why Frieza really didn't receive a power boost. Because what Frieza's army was trying to do was of course reconstruct his body, and because Frieza's body was blown to bits and was damaged so much, I think that might have damaged, what he could have done with his own body. And because I think that what they were trying to do is just replace it and try to make Frieza as strong as he was before, maybe even slightly stronger. But by no means were they trying to significantly improve Frieza. They were just trying to pretty much make him a new body, pretty much.
So it was more of a repair. It was a repair rather than trying to build some, killing machine, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good
point.
And
yeah, exactly. I think that really is it.
That's probably the biggest reason out of everything, really. Kwame, what do you have to say? I'm sure you agree with a lot of what we say. Hopefully you can add something new.
Yeah, I mean, so what I'm going to add to this is basically talking about something that Mike from Laughingstock Media and I talked about yesterday when we recorded a long Star Wars video. And it kind of reminds me of like Darth Vader from like the Star Wars series, in the sense where after Obi-Wan basically said no limbs for you, and Anakin basically burned, they had to basically reconstruct his body similar to Vader. And I kind of look at Frieza in the same sense, like similar to like how Anakin's body was basically cut and burned to pieces. Frieza basically lost those body parts, and I kind of look at what they repaired Frieza to not just improve him the way the anime was trying to expand on, but I thought it was kind of like a band-aid, just put him back together, But the question is, what is Frieza's potential as Mecha Frieza versus being completely organic? Like, can Frieza train in that Mecha Frieza form to get to what he could have possibly been in Fakatsu no F?
On top of what you were saying, Kwame, I think
my
that
money is not on not.
Yeah, I think that also on top of what Kwame was saying,
you could use my real name, by the way, don't worry.
But on top of what he was saying, I think that what really could also be something is that Frieza might not be able to go to like 100% anymore, but the augmentations like surpassed it up to that point. So
what do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, considering that he's missing so many of his body parts at that point, it's possible that he cannot go into his bulky form anymore, because, like, there's so many metal, like, parts, like, robotic parts over enhancements, like, he'd pop them out if he tried to bulk up, you know what I mean? So, I feel like maybe they just gave him enough power to where he's a little bit stronger than he was when he was in his 120 million form, when he went up to, bulky, but normally, nowadays, he might not be able to actually bulk up his body anymore, because, like, most of his body is now, artificial.
That's a good point, Mike. I never thought about it like that, because when you think about it, like, you can't really, like, well, at least in terms of the way Frieza powered up, like, he basically pumped up his body, and even if you look at Fakatsu no F, Golden Frieza seems to be significantly more muscular than, like, his regular slim form.
Yep, because when he does the, well, I shouldn't say it for spoilers. So we'll continue on.
Well, the point I'm trying to say, just to support Mike, is as Golden Frieza, gets more muscular too, and who hasn't seen Fakatsu no F at this point? So, I mean, if Golden Frieza gets significantly muscular, it's similar to the way 100% form Frieza, that could definitely put some limitations, but so now he's kind of a metallic, slimmer, more powerful form, but he probably has more limitations. So, I think what Mike, are you basically saying, like, let's say Frieza improved off of that 100%, now Frieza's is basically at like 140, 150 million, and that's like the max he'll ever get, like he can't get stronger because he's just basically a hunk of metal.
That's a big part of it, and it's also that if they pumped him up to 150, it's like on top of like whatever his 70% form was, because he cannot physically become more muscular now because most of his body is like robotic, and if he became more muscular in the areas that aren't, he'd like rip his robotic enhancements off. So I just feel like they augmented and replaced his bulking up with the mechanical parts and made it even stronger.
So maybe they could have, because it's obviously they were trying to make him a little bit stronger to some degree. Obviously with the scientists, it's weird that they wouldn't be able to make him stronger, but biologically speaking, from what you're going off of, if it would make him like bulk up or something like that, he wouldn't physically be able to transform, I guess, with the bulkiness because of the metal. So I guess they physically could not make him stronger.
Yeah, I think that's just the way that they.
I guess that's a very good point,
just the way that they did it. It increases, his strength. Like, it went up to his point, but like they enhanced upon what he had thus far. But it was basically just like a little bit of a tweak.
Right. Okay. Well, does anyone else have anything to add to this discussion? I think we actually covered it a lot more in depth than what I thought we would.
Well, I'd just like to ask,
yes, Quinn?
Not just us, but the audience, like, do you guys think, like, Frieza has, like, a cap in his mecha form? Meaning, whatever they powered him up to, he can never get stronger than that.
I could, honestly, I could see him getting stronger through, like, meditation or something, but not through physical training. Because he doesn't have anything to physically train to get stronger. Like, he can only, like, meditate, like, his mental key or something like that. Because, like, what's he gonna do? Push-ups on robot arms? It's not gonna do anything.
Right. That's a very good point. I don't think he can get much stronger, if at all, in that mecha form, because he's mostly, honestly, mechanical at this point. What do you say, Black and Fist? You agree with all that?
Well, I mean, that's kind of, I mean, he does have a bit of himself left, you know, his organic stuff, but
Right.
yeah, that's, I've always, the way I always viewed it, of course, was that, yeah, I feel that his mecha form kind of capped him a little bit. Maybe he could get a little stronger, but, you know, I don't think, but the thing is, like Frieza's a type of character who doesn't care about getting stronger anyway. The only reason he wanted to get stronger in Resurrection F was, of course, because he got beat up pretty much.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
okay. Well, we all said a lot of really great things here. Obviously, I mean, obviously, guys, we can all agree the main reason is to progress the story, show that Trunks is a powerful warrior killing Frieza. It's all for writing, but there's also in-universe answers for this. That's why we're discussing this now. And I think there's a lot of good points to support it. And honestly, I mean, it's not like it is a completely obvious answer or something like that. But if you don't think about it too much, you might not, you know, might brush it off or something. I definitely learned a couple things discussing it with you guys, you know, with the whole, you know, I actually didn't even think of the fact that, you know, they were just repairing Frieza rather than, you know, building him up to be powerful. I mean, obviously, I always thought, you know, they would scramble around to get him up to speed so he wouldn't die on them or bleed out or something. But I think we all said a lot of great things. And once again, is there anything you guys want to add, or are you guys all good?
Yeah, one final quick thing I'd just add, Josh, is that, you know how I mentioned earlier how it kind of reminds me of Darth Vader?
Right.
The way I kind of look at it is, and I'm sure Mike might want to say something really quick here, is that I think that in terms of power, Frieza might not be able to really get stronger, like punching and kicking, like combat-wise, but maybe like similar to how Darth Vader got stronger with the Force over time, because Mike might mention really quickly, like how, you know, Vader mentioned how he got stronger. He could get stronger with like his energy attacks. What do you
Yeah,
say
I
to
mean,
that,
the
Mike?
thing is, again, like I was saying before, he can meditate, you know, and he can increase his ki through means that aren't just physical training. Kind of like, you know, Darth Vader said, "Oh, I was the time we met the learner, but now I am the master," to imply that he was significantly stronger than he was in the prequels when he had all of his organic components. So I think it's just like Frieza could train himself to get stronger, but without, you know, necessarily punching and kicking to do it.
Well, that was definitely a lot of information there, and I'd like to thank you all for being in this video with me, of course. I mean, it's always fun to have these group discussions with you guys, and obviously leave it to you guys in the comment section to discuss this if you have anything to add, or, you know, I guess debate if there's really anything to debate here. I thought it was a pretty fun little discussion. If you guys want to add anything, you can go ahead and do that in the comment section below. But once again, thank you guys for joining me, and thank you, the viewer, for watching this video. And as I always say, I'll catch you later.
And please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a...
And you better subscribe, you sissy sons of bitches. What with the lifting of the weights? Come on, let's do it now.
So if you stuck around this long and you're crazy, I have a couple of video game codes here. Gears of War 2, 3, and Gears of War Judgment. I got these from Xbox Live. I already own all the games, so I decided to just give them out at the end of this video. Real awkward, like, has nothing to even do with the video. But if you guys want these codes, I have them on here. I have 2 Gears of War 2 codes. 1 Gears 3 code and 1 Gears of War Judgment code. Now, all the codes are right here on the screen. As you can see, codes 1 and 2 for Gears 2 are at the top, then Gears 3, then Gears Judgment. But where those red dashes are, that is where I placed the marker for a missing character. I took a character out of every code, so you have to find out what that secret character is to complete the code. I took out one piece of each code, guys. So I'll give you a little hint for Gears of War 2. Both of those keys that I took out of those codes, They are both letters. They are not numbers. They are both letters. As for Gears 3 and Gears Judgment, if you guys want those games, you have to figure those out on your own. And if you don't already know this, these games are now backwards compatible with Xbox One as well. So if you have an Xbox One only, you can still download these and play these. They are completely playable now on Xbox One. But if you guys win, let me know. Shoot me a tweet, something like that. But other than that, good luck. Again, thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you later. Alright, what do you think I should open this up with? What is it? Why wasn't Frieza... Why wasn't Mecha Frieza stronger, right?
And I think it's pretty clear that Frieza did not have Soviet technology, so he was not able to get the power boost that he needed. He should have come.
I believe you mean the Nazi technology, you sissy Russian.
The Nazi technology, comrade, is very overrated. We are the first ones to send a man into space.
Now, haven't you heard of Operation Paperclip? You sissy, go back to your turnips and your vodka. Leave the beer and the muscles to me.